It has been a minute since we talked to Eileen Wournos, and oh my gosh, guys, she has so much to say today specifically, so I decided to make a video for you guys right here, right now, so here we go. Obviously, I've had a couple episodes on the podcast, and if you haven't heard them, highly recommend doing so. I'm actually dropping one for the election here in the next couple of days. So if you want to take a listen to that, I highly recommend it. It's scary, but it's super informative, and I hope more questions come from that. So a lot of you guys have actually reached out to me when it comes to Aileen Wournos and the trend happening on TikTok with her face and her picture, and she is loving it. She loves when people talk about her and just the women in general. She's like so captivated by women of all kinds. And she's infatuated, so she enjoys it. So she is somebody who's been creeping TikTok, using my phone to creep people on TikTok. Sometimes my phone just goes off no reason on TikTok. She is obsessed with it. And sadly, I cannot talk about Aileen too much on TikTok because she can be a little bit inappropriate. Just a little. I kid you not. As I was writing this write-up for this episode, Aileen has been critiquing me the whole way through. It's not funny enough. It's not good enough. I have been working on this episode for days now. Normally it doesn't take me days. She is wearing like this polo shirt and khaki pants. She's looking her best. Her hair is not as thin. It's a little longer. She presents as a masculine lesbian now. She's got the shaved style in the back, though. She feels much more comfortable in the masculine clothes, and she did do that before, but she didn't really get to truly be herself. She remembers her hair thinning, and it wasn't cute. That's at least the way she positions it to me. She is much more confident in herself, and all of those quirky details on her face, which I thought were fine, she has gotten rid of. She says that all the women that have found her attractive, she just wants to give them a shout out. She can't even believe how many women she could pull. If she had known back then all the women she could have pulled, she wouldn't even have gone on a rampage and killed men. She would have been finding and pursuing these women and having lots of babies with them. She doesn't like children, by the way, but she says that if the woman wanted a baby, she would give it to them. If the mood strikes you and you want to channel her at all, so just put on some like angry girl music and she'll come running. She loves being talked about and she is often dancing. And she wants everyone to know that her biggest regret in life was not enjoying the beautiful bounty of women that were out there. She feels like she was gypped and she couldn't meet beautiful, intelligent women enough. And she's holding up a can of beer, that everyone else should hold up a can of beer. I told her that I don't like beer and she looked at me like I had two heads and said, "How the fuck do you like women? How the fuck are you gay?" And I keep telling her that gay does not equal beer. And according to Aileen, apparently it's a rite of passage for being queer. I kindly reminded her that not everybody enjoys drinking. And some people have addiction. And she corrected herself and told everyone to just grab a glass of whatever, hold it up, take a long sip, and cheers to Aileen. She's good with blunts and joints and weed and bongs and all that too. I think the fame has gotten to her head a little bit. She is super impressed with the amount of people that love her, and it makes her happy and that people understand her. So she's incredibly proud of that. Those interviews that she didn't want to have, she's okay with them now too. She says she wishes a woman had interviewed her, but God forbid that happened. She's telling me that women did want to really interview her, but the men were like, "No, you can't handle a woman like her." And she's like, "No, dick, you can't handle a woman like me. Women can handle me just fine." She also often thought about killing the guy who was interviewing her. Just saying. She just said. If you're an Aileen fan and you're having a dispute with your partner and your partner is a guy, she'll help you. She'll make sure that he feels some sort of wrath or pain, like a stubbed toe or an inappropriate fart. She doesn't care. She said some really nasty things, which I'm keeping inside. She wants everyone to know that her favorite singers and musicians are as follows: Joan Jett, Annie Lennox, Sinead O'Connor, Pat Benatar, Stevie Nicks, Madonna, Fleetwood Mac, The Cranberries, B-52, Cyndi Lauper, Patti LaBelle, Dolly Parton, Joni Mitchell, and Tracy Chapman. There are many, many other women, but this is just off the top of her head. She also likes the new era, including Taylor Swift. These particular singers were people that she listened to back in the day. In fact, on many of her killings, she would hear or put on some music inspired by these women whilst killing her people. And she doesn't regret killing a single soul. Not a one. Now that we've talked about all that, she wants to talk about all the crazy things going on in the world, which is another reason why she wanted to make this video today. Eileen wants people to start finding their inner Eileen, which includes not being afraid of men anymore. Not killing them, but not being afraid of men. Whether that be your partner or your parents or anyone for that matter. A very abusive, controlling energy. Even our bosses. She wants us to start taking control and saying no. There are a lot of people that we give power to. She says to stop doing that. Now, she wants us as a society to start reevaluating our lives. See who in your life is going to give you the best version of themselves. If you have bad, crappy people in your life, she says, why do you have them in there? Just X them. Who cares if you've had a 25-year relationship or not? These people are not worth it. Time does not equal happiness. It's very similar to Sheldon Cooper's list of enemies. She says, write it down if you need to so that you can remind yourself as to why they are there in the first place. She says that when you cut people off, don't let them back in, no matter what. They were there for a reason and a season, and that's it. She also wants women to stop being nice. Why does it matter if we're crazy? Why does it matter if we stand up for ourselves? We need to show men that they are not the superior gender. We don't need to impress men. We don't need to have children. We don't need to be a housewife. We don't need to clean if we don't want to. She doesn't have any advice for children. She says that Lizzie Borden is more of the spirit surrounding what to do with kids. Which we'll talk to Lizzie Borden on a bigger note at some point. She's also here, by the way. But Eileen does say that in a past life, she was a better mother, but she probably had like 15 to 20 kids, which is probably why she stayed the hell away from it this time. Funny story, when we were in Florida, I thought that she would be so excited because Florida was where she was from. But there was like a period of time where I didn't hear from her very often. And I recently found out why. Because we were near Orlando, because we were near Disney, and she did not want to be around any children's energy. Children scare her. I believe it's because she had that painful situation with her child, but she doesn't really talk about it. So she says that as a society, as women, and I think she's referencing a lot more DV survivors than anything else, but she says that you need to put away money. Keep a little fun for yourself, hide it away, find a spot nobody looks at, not like anyone else is doing the chores. Perhaps you're not the breadwinner in the family. When you do obtain money, little by little, putting that money away can save you in the long run. She says to hide it in your bra and panties, and she will make sure it stays safe. And she says that if there's ever a time when you need to get out of a situation, having that money will help you go a long way. She also stated that there are so many men out here that are extremely dangerous and are going to get more and more dangerous over the next couple of years. She wants us as a society, as women in general, to take care of ourselves. She wants us to learn to work on ourselves. Start working on ourselves while we're still in the situation. Mentally prepare. Remind yourself that you are worth it. And if you ever feel like you aren't, you have to reevaluate your situation and fix it. She also says don't trust anyone that has a relationship with him, regardless of how good or bad it is. She says don't trust anyone. Trust people that you know and are associated with you and trying to get you out of this situation. She knows that a lot of people are not comfortable with guns, but she also believes in gun safety. So she says if you do not know how to use a gun and you do not have a gun and you are scared for your life, learn how to use it and get one. She really likes those tools on TikTok. There are so many women with the really long nails, which by the way, she's like, she loves those long nails so much. But the women with the long nails that have those safety tools like the little kitty ears or the little thingy to poke or the pepper spray. There's a lot of items. She says you need to get those things for your protection. And if you do not have any and you are a woman, work on that ASAP. She also says you need to be comfortable with being a snitch. Sharing these details everywhere. If you don't have a journal, get one. Send your journal off. Whatever you need to do. You need to do something to make sure people are aware of your situation, because there are too many situations right now where people are not in the know. We get it. You don't want people to know that your partner is a piece of shit, but you need to let someone know. More than one would be better. And she says, above all else, get a passport. For you, your children, whatever you need to do. She says that there are a lot of like groups on TikTok, Facebook, you name it, that help people with DV situations. So if you're ever in a bind, make a fake account, whatever you need to do, but you need to do something to tell somebody something. And she says if all else fails, you can always talk to her. She is somebody who is there for anyone. You can channel her very easily. She is someone who will show up instantly. And again, her specialty is to make your partner feel pain, like toothache, stubbing their toe, having diarrhea, whatever the case may be. She just wants to make sure we're safe, because there's going to be a lot of violence happening over the next 4 years. Eileen has a lot of friends, a lot of serial killer friends, Lavina Fisher being one of them. She had I think it was a hotel with her husband, and the two of them, she would poison men, and then her husband would come at nighttime and then finish everything else off. Jane Tobin, who's also known as Jolly Jane, which is another character that she hangs out with. She was somebody to believe to have murdered 100 people en masse, but she only confessed to 31 of these killings. She was targeting patients and family members. Like, it's pretty crazy. She's not somebody who I personally want to connect with. If she connects with Jolly Jane, by all means. She kind of scares me. She's actually also friends with somebody by the name of Donna Perry, which is actually a transgender woman. She ended up killing like 3 or 4 women in the 1990s, and she was sexually abused by her father. Now, these crimes didn't just happen willy-nilly. They happened because these people were terrible to her, but that never came out. But she's also a very active spirit, and I highly recommend checking her out. Eileen also wants you to know that she messes around a lot with lights. Those lights, the strip lights, she loves those strip lights. Anything light related is something she'll do too. And if you hear Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, that is one of her anthems. That is like probably one of the bigger songs that she really likes. Women empowerment songs, she says that empowered her quite a bit, and she just wants women to feel empowered. So we're going to do a more in-depth Eileen and the rest of her victims here soon. I'll be doing something in the new year when I have a little bit more time. Eileen, working with her, I love her, but she is more of a perfectionist than I am, and she needs things said exactly the same way she wants them, not in my words. So it's going to take me some time, but we're going to do something in the new year, and it's going to be awesome. This is all her message for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back next week. I'm going to be doing something and focusing on like 80s comedies and all the crazy shit that happened in and around the scene next week. So you're going to want to see that. I can't wait to show you. Until next time, guys, stay freaked out.